Let us go ahead. We are done with. We wanted to calculate income. चल एक बार now that income word आया ही है, why not speak our favorite sentence once? तो speak no. Income tax is payable by every person. बराबर ना? We are done with the meaning of person, previous year and assessment year. We had to learn income and tax. Income depends on your residential status and Indian income or foreign income. We did that chapter. Then we came to income. We said income will be divided into two categories. To pay tax or not to pay tax. If we have to pay tax, we call it taxable income. And when we don't have to pay tax, exempt income. Which income government does not want to tax, that exempt income wala part is also over. So whatever is not exempt is going to be taxable and divided into 5 different categories of income. आज के बाद अब तक क्या है कैटेगरी we were speaking because we had not started learning. After today, the only thing you will speak from your mouth is the 5 heads of income. If we go in the order, first head of income is salary. Next head of income is income from house property. Next is profits and gains of business or profession. Next is capital gains, and last is other sources. Okay, but these are 5 heads that we have to study, and we can study them in any order. Business, profession, capital gains are big, really big chapters. Matlab one of them 20 plus 20 out of total duration 40 hours, PGBP, capital gains together. After tax rates, we have 3-4 chapters. Together they will not take utna time. That relief ka chapter, alternate minimum tax ka chapter, all those chapters. So 20 plus 20. Salary also takes anywhere between 15 to 17 hours. Salary ka section ka range is also section 15, 16, 17. That is salary. Hours bhi utna hi lagta. So these 3 are big and the other 2 are very small. House property and income from other sources. House property is very easy also. So there are multiple reasons why I am starting house property. 1, it is small. 2, it is easy. Once you get the feeling, income computation mere ko aa raha hai. Because till now we did things which we don't have to include in income. See, you can't get marks by not including things in income. You will get marks when you include the total income, compute the total income and calculate the tax on that. Marks tabhi milega na. Correct hai? And one more reason, as you are aware, that from next week, 2 weeks, I am not available for CA intermediate. मतलब दिन के टाइम पे I am not available. मॉर्निंग में फाइनल वालों के साथ में पढ़ना है तो यू कैन कम. जैसे कि सर थोड़ा थोड़ा साथ में पैरेलली चला लो ना. आना है तो आ जाना. बट इंटर के लिए आई एम नॉट अवेलेबल. तो देयर इज गोइंग टू बी अ गैप. इफ आई स्टार्ट सैलरी, PGBP, capital gain, so there is no question only starting them as the first head. But if at all I do, there is going to be a big gap. On the other hand, house property will get over. So whenever we meet next, we start a new chapter, new head of income. So for this reason, the first head of income, charging section. What is the charging section of the act? But then there are individual heads ka charging section also. Charging section 22 says we will take tax on your income that you have earned from house property. If you have income from house property, we will take tax. This is legally speaking second head of income. If we go in the order of income tax, the first salary comes. So I'll just roughly tell you. Is there a charging section of the entire law? There is charging section of individual heads also. There is a section 15 which says, you have salary, bro, you have salary, pay tax. Who says so? 50. You have house property income, pay tax. You have business profession income, pay tax. You have capital gains income, pay tax. And you have other sources income, pay tax. These are known as charging sections of individual heads of income. First time in your life, probably these numbers are written. Aaj ke baad for the rest of your life, you will have to remember these numbers. For now, we are focusing on charging section 22. That section which makes which income tax. If you have income from house property, bro, if you have income from house property, then you pay tax. That is charging section 22. To tax income earned from house properties. This is a special head that has come to tax your rental income. So what do you earn from property? What is that income that you earn from property? To tax you on your rental income, we have a special head of income called house property. And when they created the section ke heading mein, charging section mein, what did they keep as name of the head? Income from house property, income from house property, house property, house property. If you open section 22 of Income Tax Act and start reading the law, it says property of any kind, whether commercial or residential. So chilla ke section is saying house property, house. But when you actually read, it is not house. It can be office also. Kyunki residential or commercial. And what do you earn? Whether the property is residential, whether the property is commercial, what do you earn? Rent. Is that an income of the person who owns that home or office? That income will be taxed in this head called house property. Yes, I have to tell you a lot of things. I will start with some introductory points about the chapter, some conditions about the chapter. I'll tell you a lot of things. But I would like to start by telling you, why is this head of income required? General knowledge first. Globally, the two main ways of earning income. Think about it. I am a student today. One day I will earn income. There are people around me who earn regular income. They earn their monthly income. There are two ways of doing it. Work for someone or make others work for you. And do that regularly. If you work for someone regularly, then you get income that is called salary. So that's a recurring, regular, worldwide income, not just India but worldwide. We have a head of income. Alternatively, you don't work for anyone, people work for you, you are an entrepreneur. Koi baat nahi. That means you are doing a regular activity which can be sale of goods, that is business. Yeah, sale of services, that is profession. And you are making profits in that business or profession, pay tax. Profits and gains of business or profession. Profits or gains of business or profession. PGBP. PUBG nahi. PGBP, a special head of income. And these two are global things. Globally, the most two common ways, the most popular ways of earning income. Salary and business. These two are our heads of income also, first and third head. Then, sometimes you will earn something called a non-recurring income when you sell your asset at a profit. Purchase an asset, sell it at a profit. That won't happen very often like salary or business. Sometimes it may happen. So for that we can't include that. That's not my employee. See, aap samajh lo, if you are working under someone, you are an employee, you get your salary. But buying a house, selling a house and making profit has got nothing to do with that salary. That will be calculated separately. And anyway, salary will be regular. That will not be regular. So for those abnormal, irregular transactions, we have a separate head of income. And then we also required another head where if anything is not included anywhere else, there is some income which is not your salary. It is not your business and it is not sale of asset. Bank interest, for example. That's not salary. That's not your business. And that's not sale of asset. That's other sources. Getting a gift from someone. That's not salary. That's not, you can't say, what is your business? I take gift from people, don't give it back. That's not business. That's not sale of an asset. That's IFRS. Anything which does not go anywhere else, uske liye we had to keep a residuary head. We call it. Salary is important because worldwide. Business is important because worldwide. Sale of assets, sometimes you do it is abnormal. We could have merged it with other sources, but the gain is not as often. Bank interest will come often. But sale of asset ka profit will not come often. It has to be classified, shown, presented separately. So capital gains, and for including other sundry things, other residuary things, we have other sources. This was normal. Salary, business, capital gains and other sources, putting them, four heads, normal. But now welcome to India. Logic of this chapter I am telling. Why there is a separate head called house property? It's a regular income. Correct? But not received from my boss, so not salary. Okay. There are some people who do rent ka regular activity. They regularly give properties on rent. It can be business. But there are some people who do it sometimes. So for those who do it regularly, put it under business. And those who do it less regularly, put it under IFRS. Why do you need a separate head called house property? This I am going to discuss with you. Not ke ye head mein calculation kya hai. That any coaching class will do. You have a lot of people in your college, in your surrounding doing CA. Ask them, is their house property ka head of income if tax has started? They will know yes. What is the calculation? They will give you the calculation. No class is so bad that they will teach you the wrong calculation or not teach you the calculation. All respected organizations, everyone is working since a lot of years. But we still have to be better than others. So ask them, why is their income from house property? What was the need to have this? Can you not classify it under business or other sources? Depending upon regular or less regular, not regular, irregular. Why is this separate head called house property created? A question. You all are the only people in the country who will know this answer. After I tell you, of course. Ye India hai. And in India, there is concentration of wealth in the hands of selected individuals. English. Means the rich are very rich and the poor are very poor. This is not a communist country like China where nobody is allowed to hold anything beyond a point. Everything is owned by the government. Do you know that? India, we are a mixed economy. Rich are getting rich, poor are getting, and day by day gap is increasing. I am waiting for a day where there is every business in the country is either owned by Ambani or Adani. Imagine kijiye. Every shop, Ambani Telecom, Ambani Kirana, Ambani Adani. You will not find only any other name. This gap is widening. What happens because of this wealth concentration? Understand the economic factor here. One person has got lots and lots of money. He will buy house after house. Buy. For him, it becomes an investment. And that will give him returns of two ways. One, regular recurring income in the form of rent. Two, one day whenever I will sell this investment, the profit on sale of investment. The profit ke liye to alag head, that's abnormal. That won't happen regularly. But this recurring income rent, why separate head? Because this happens in our country very, very often. A selected individuals hold 90% of the wealth of the country. It's like 5% people hold 80% wealth, yeah, 10% people hold 95% wealth, something like that. When one person owns 10 houses, another does not have any house. So the owner of 10 houses will give the person who does not have any house his own house to live. Free mein nahi. Now two things. One, that rich guy who has many houses. How many houses you can stay at one time? Try kiya kabhi aisa? Like Ajay Devgan, एक टांग ये बाइक पे, एक टांग ड्राइव करना, योर बॉडी पार्ट्स आर डिटैच, ऐसा स्क्रू के साथ में निकाल के, वन इन दिस हाउस, वन इधर, फेंका चार बाजू में. नो, यू कैन स्टे ओनली इन वन हाउस, द रिमेनिंग आर लॉक्ड. दैट्स an opportunity for the rich guy. Let's talk about the poor guy. Does not have any money to buy even one house. You are living in a city called Mumbai. To buy a house, you have to first sell yourself twice. ये बराबर. अभी तो रेसिडेंशियल स्टेटस का क्वेश्चन दो पूछा ना, दो तो खत्म. But this you remember perfectly. हाँ. So this is India. This is Mumbai. तो यहाँ पे there are people who don't have money to buy house. So you can't sleep on footpath. This is Mumbai and there is Salman Khan here. And you also stay in Bandra. Mahim is not very far from Bandra. ऐसे समर बन रही है तो Bandra no, वो उधर क्या Bandra Mahim कितना पार है? किधर भी direction can be anything no. हाँ, be careful if you ever try sleeping on the footpath in the night. समझा क्या? हाँ, तो the person who does not have a house will take one of the houses of the person who has many houses and pay rent. मेरे साथ हुआ है literally, the landlord in whose house I am living on rent, he has got at least 8-10 houses given on rent in the nearby locality where I stay, Lalbagh area, and all of them are in posh, एकदम high class, hi-fi societies. हाँ, सब means all flats are worth crores and crores of rupees. So during the lockdown, when 1 year ka rent expired and another year ka I went to pay to his house, so he was sitting there mast thinking, एकदम retired, 10 houses and every month rent is coming, क्या tension है life में. He himself lives in a very good society, expensive houses. Then he told me कि मैंने अभी ये लॉकडाउन में ना, ये बाजू वाला घर है ना, वो बाय कर लिया, so that he can demolish the internal wall and make it you know, it becomes like a jodi flat, a duplex or something like. Duplex तो ऊपर नीचे होता, बाजू में जोड़. I said, why uncle? Senior citizen. Why uncle? बोला, I have 2 grandsons. Both are growing up. One is in 8th, one is in 10th. Every day tuition का fights happen. Okay, my tuition teacher has come, he is saying मेरा bedroom, he is saying मेरा bedroom. मगज मारे नहीं, I have purchased a flat, तो bedroom का tension only is over. वाह. Then same as yesterday, जिंदगी हो तो ऐसी हो. वाह. Senior citizen, full life he has worked for. This position of his life is probably last 10-15 years. उसके पहले 40 years, he has also seen the days which we may at our age see today. You have to keep working. समझा क्या? But we realize one thing, that one person will have many houses, another will have none. And there is always a probability where the person who does not have a house will use the house belonging to the person who has many houses. And in a country like India, this will happen more often than any other place or country. This will happen more regularly because this is India. In India, rent happens as frequently as salary. There are people who don't have salary but have multiple sources of rent. There are people who don't have any business, have only rent. जितना frequent world में salary and business है, which we as discussed are the most frequent incomes in the world. In India, rent holds the same status because of wealth concentration in the hands of few people. I just saw a reel, Kapil Sharma ka one of the episodes. It was Akshay Kumar and Kareena Kapoor. And they were, telling each other that you are Amir, you are Amir. Akshay Kumar says, Kareena ka Bandra ki har building mein ek flat. She earns a lot of rent from that. And then says, Kapil ke paas nahi hai. Kapil is poor. He does not have in Bandra. He has many in Lokhandwala. Rich people, they save money. They buy property. Understand कीजिए. When we start saving money at our age, we buy insurance. गरीब लोग ना. Life insurance, medical insurance, that's our standard. थोड़ा standard increase हुआ, छोटा छोटा quantity में gold. The benefit about gold investment is one, it's gold is same as cash. It's highly liquid. Middle of the night, you want to sell your gold. It's not a distress sale. Ke emergency mein you have to sell it at half price. You can sell it at the prevailing market price. If you are not getting, you come to me. I am the only unfortunately educated person in my extended family. My brother is an engineer, but engineering is not education. And civil engineer, mistri, civil engineer, carpenter. Then he did MBA also, because engineering के बाद में MBA, मरने के बाद में श्राद्ध, compulsion है वो. And my wife is a chartered accountant, company secretary, but she only joined few years ago. उसके पहले I was the only educated person. The rest of my family, father's side and mother's side, is sitting in Zaveri Bazaar gold market. Zaveri Bazaar, India's biggest gold market. They are all there. Their office starts at 2 o'clock. Ends at 7 o'clock. उसमें 1 hour lunch. And 3-4 hours of only doing accounts. परेश रावल याद आ जाता है. बोले सब्जी खरीदने को 20 घंटा, हिसाब लिखने को 20 मिनट, हिसाब लिखने को 3 घंटा. You've seen आवारा पागल दीवाना? छोटा छतरी? क्या बात कर रहे हो यार? What are you saying? होमवर्क. तुम आज ही देखो. Okay. तो ये मारवाड़ी फैमिली है और यहां पे you want to sell gold? No. I have got enough number of people that whatever price you are getting उससे higher, it will get sold. Commission नहीं लूंगा, टेंशन मत. I will just send you there, then you deal it. You do the deal. Anyways, I don't have time to accompany you. कैसे टाइम होएगा? सुबह मुलुन भागते भागते इधर आया, उतने में तो यहाँ से जाने के बाद में बॉडी इज हाफ डेड, सुबह ही वापस जिंदा होता है. समझ में आता है? हाँ. गोल्ड इज हाईली लिक्विड. गोल्ड का सेकेंड बेनिफिट इज, यू से 5,000 का गोल्ड लेना है तो 5,000 का गिन्नी ऑल्सो कम्स, 15,000 का कम्स, 5 lakh का यू कैन बाय. 5 lakh का गोल्ड बार इज कॉल्ड गोल्ड बिस्किट, एंड 50 lakh का गोल्ड बार इज कॉल्ड गोल्ड कैडबरी. आई एम नॉट जोकिंग. 1 kg gold bar in Zaveri Bazaar is called Cadbury. I am not joking. But it's not Cadbury. ऐसा नहीं कि रैपर खोल के खा जाएगा. 50 लाख रुपए का. So people invest थोड़ा गोल्ड. थोड़ा और फाइनेंसेस इंप्रूव होता है. या तो दे गो इन दी FD वाला रूट, सेफ वाला, प्रोविडेंट फंड एंड ऑल, पब्लिक प्रोविडेंट फंड एंड ऑल, या थोड़ा डायनेमिक लिया तो दे टेक द इक्विटी वाला रूट. उसमें भी डायनेमिक में शेयर्स इज एक्सट्रीमली रिस्की. उसके पहले यू हैव द ऑप्शन ऑफ म्यूचुअल फंड यूनिट्स, लेस रिस्की क्योंकि डाइवर्सिफाई हो जाएगा. बट प्रॉपर्टी के लिए द वन टाइम सेविंग हैज टू बी इन crores of rupees. You can't buy without crores of rupees. So there are people who have crores and crores lying idle. They can तो just buy. जब भी बिल्डर नया प्रोजेक्ट लॉन्च करता है ना, बिल्डर डज नॉट हैव एनी मनी. बिल्डर सेज आई हैव लॉन्च अ प्रोजेक्ट, आओ खरीदो. लॉन्च ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट मींस थ्रो अवे प्राइस. यू हैव 20 करोड़, बोला मेरा 3 फ्लैट लिख. नॉर्मली दैट फ्लैट विल बी 8-9 करोड़ रुपीज. 25 करोड़ होएगा, but you are paying at the time of booking, no? You bargain, no? He will give 4 also, 5 also in 20 crore because he wants that 20 crore. With that, the construction will start. ऐसा 5-6 people like you become investors. 20 crore करके 100 crore he will get. He will start constructing. He will give ownership of the promised number of flats to you. बाकी का he will sell. And as and when construction happens, price will keep on increasing. So by the time building is ready, his flats are sold. He has got no problem because he has these rich investors. So what is the problem of the property sector, especially in Mumbai? The people who are buying are not buying for staying, and the people who want to stay don't have initial investment. Acha, don't want to wait for 5 years because we are putting our life ka hard earned money in the mouth of a crocodile. So don't want to take that risk. And by the time the flat is ready, it is non-affordable. And builder will purposely increase because his cost is recovered. And then what this gentleman, the initial investor, will do? जैसे जैसे price बढ़ेगा, जैसे जैसे price is increasing, 1 sold, 2 sold, last में जाके the last 1 or 2 become free. Initial investment is recovered, but we still have a remaining flat. Small, must. This is creating the problem. On one hand, people have got huge number of houses. On the other hand, people don't have anything. This, Mitro, is creating the problem. Are you understanding the problem? Which is why the only option now is that poor guy who wants a house desperately for his family. Family grow hota hai na. You always want a house. 2004 mein my father purchased a 2-bedroom ka house that was also very big for the family. But 2019 mein it was very small. Span of 15 years. You're like, अब तो मुंबई में कभी टेंशन ही नहीं, life is set. We have our own house in Mumbai. And 2-bedroom house in South Mumbai, Charni Road area, उसमें I can buy 2-3 bungalows in Ahmedabad. Even today, if I sell that house, Virar में तो मेरे को लगता है I can open a resort in that price. The life was sorted. Matter of few years. I got married, brother got married. Now we need 3 bedrooms. अभी क्या करना? वो घर बेच के डिफरेंस का भी मनी बिटो गरीब लोग. Difference का money is also not there. Initially it was not there. Today we have enough money that we can sell and pay the difference. But now we have decided that till the time possible we will not sell the house purchased by our father. We will keep it. But one day if it does not work, then it does not work. We will have to sell it, pay the difference. समझ में आता है? Buying a house is a very difficult task if you don't have money. And those who have money, they are just continuously buying. Do you understand the problem in the sector, real estate sector here? And thus in our country, rent happens as often and as frequently as salary and business. Rent is like a separate activity, a separate regular recurring income for a lot of people in our country. This is so frequent that creating a separate head was the only available option. And accordingly, our first 3 heads of income become those incomes which happen regular. As an employee, regular first head, salary. As an entrepreneur, regular business profession. And as a retired person, but lots and lots of wealth in the form of immovable property, rent. Residential house के office. अरे हाउस प्रॉपर्टी, चलो बोलता हाउस प्रॉपर्टी है. And then in the section they say what? Residential and commercial. Both. To tax rental income, we have a separate head of income. Very small, very easy calculation. Let's understand what are the points of income from house property. Point number 1, we have been given some conditions to tax an income under house property. Only if the conditions are fulfilled, house property income will arise. If the conditions are not fulfilled, then it is not going to be taxed under house property. If the condition is fulfilled, where will it go? If the condition is not fulfilled, where it will go is not what I will ask you now and not what you will answer or think about. Where it will go in one of the 4. Unless it is exempt. And exempt income is over. Rent from agricultural land ko chhod ke where other place rent was exempt. Correct hai ki nahi? If I tell you that the conditions are not fulfilled, all I want to hear from you is, sir, it will not come in house property. Where will it go? I don't know. I know. You don't know and don't bother also. It will come when it has to. Conditions for taxing an income under house property. These conditions are cumulative. So if I give you 3 conditions between 1, 2 and 3, what word you will write? And, plus sign, cumulative, fulfill all the 3 conditions, then only Mitro, an income will be taxed under income from house property. Condition 1, there has to be a building on which you are earning rent. When we say property, it means a properly constructed structure. Because you all live in Mumbai, no? Your imagination of the word, the term building is a little different. In your imagination building means 6 floor ka one superstructure. Every floor will have houses or offices. This is building. And I am earning rent of this building. But ye Mumbai hai. What is the probability of one person being the owner of the entire superstructure? Very high. One person owning the entire building. Unless it is inheritance. Today it is not possible. Okay. Good old days everything was possible. Now it is not possible. Now maximum what will happen? In one building you purchase one house, one office, something like that. When they use the term building, no, don't see building like you see in Mumbai. Rest of India, the system is bungalow system. There is ground floor. There is one compound. In that there is ground floor, first floor, second floor, terrace. That whole thing belongs to one person and main gate you lock. So you can prohibit outside. That's building. And when we have a building like we have in Mumbai, this is called one unit in a building. Supposingly, in one building, on one floor, there are 4 flats. We say they are all part of one building, 4 units per floor. So when we say building, from which you are earning rent, is it possible? Now, likelihood less hai. But is it possible one person is owning the entire structure? Ahmedabad mein jis class mein I used to work, they have pura building 5 floors. 5 buildings. And every time I used to go for a trip, they added a building. Sir, वो भी ले लिया. Every, मालूम है आपको? बुक पे पढ़ा नहीं क्या about the faculty? About the faculty is written in the book का back cover. पढ़ो थोड़ा, you will get knowledge. अभी नहीं, ये तो अभी बुक चलना ब्रेक लेता 5 मिनट से. Let's read about the faculty. हाँ, listen. Full building is owned by them. Of course, they are using for their own purposes. But ऐसा हो सकता है that we give it on rent. That's not impossible. और मुंबई तो थोड़ा less likely. Mumbai में it is possible that part of a building, one unit, residential unit or commercial unit, you are giving on rent. No problem. But what is the condition? There has to be a building. Is it possible that the rent is coming from the entire building? Possible. Is it possible that the rent is coming from a part of a building? Both allowed. Full or part. Full allowed, part allowed. Both allowed. Full building or part building, both allowed. You know what this condition is trying to tell us? Therefore, if you are earning rent from a land, अलग अलग word they will use. Vacant land. Vacant land मतलब on this there is no construction. They will use the word plot. They will use the word vacant plot. They will use the word plot of land. Can you earn rent from these places also? Yes. This will not come under house code. तो सर मेरे को लैंड से रेंट मिल रहा है तो फिर इट विल गो. दैट्स नॉट योर प्रॉब्लम राइट नाउ. राइट नाउ इट विल नॉट गो अंडर. बस इट विल नॉट गो अंडर हाउस. बस is that understood? It will not go under house property. That is the condition. That is the criteria. Mitro, khatam. Is that understood? That means the first condition to tax an income under house property is that there has to be a building. There is a land that you have given on rent. You are earning rent, it will not come. On that land there is a constructed superstructure of building. Now you can be the owner of the entire building, or you can be the owner of any one unit in the building. You can earn rent from full building or part of building. But as long as there is a building, there is construction, there is a superstructure, condition is satisfied. Condition will be dissatisfied only in a case like this, because there is only land. Then it is not property. In other words, for the purpose of charging section 22 of income from house property, land is not property. Office or house, but there has to be a constructed superstructure. A constructed structure, superstructure mein bhi kyun jata? Structure. There has to be a building. Is that clear? However, somewhere in your reading of the textbook in the law, you will find they say building will include land appurtenant. English. Appurtenant. Simple language. Forming part of, included in building. Example, society ka compound. It's land, but it's a part of the building. If the owner of the building gives the full building on rent, then along with that, obviously the user will be using that compound also, no? That rent will come here. Because alone land is not going. With building, if there is rent, it is okay. But only land is not okay. Building is compulsory. With land, there are some buildings with compounds. So with land, there are some buildings which have no compounds. In the entry gate starts. Come to South Mumbai, someday you are free. Come to Charni Road, every building is kissing each other. The chipak hai. There is no space between the two buildings. There is no space. See the building ke andar you enter, see the house only starts. There is no compound. Two-wheeler ka parking nahi hai. Don't ask about four-wheeler. One big reason why I wanted to change my Charni Road wala house was mast pura din ka mast kya tired pura din ka evening you work. The parking kidhar to mil jaya. Seriously. And there was this one guy whom I had hired. Okay, whenever I come, I'll call you in advance. Parking ka jagah, you search and keep. And I was paying him every month. And every time I used to come back, his phone used to be off on. Means I used to pray, lag ja. Ghar pahunchu tab tak lag ja. Seriously, I'm telling you. So there was no society compound. There was no parking. No problem. Now today, I have been allotted 2 parkings along with the house that I have taken on rent. Building hai na. So the landlord ka rent is coming in this. If only parking was given, no. With building, land chalega. But only land. So we have said including land appurtenant. Is that understood? So whenever you have a building from which you are earning rent, is it full building ka compulsion ke part building ka compulsion? No compulsion. It can be full or part. Very good. Can the building have land with it? Yes. Building with land covered? Building without land covered? Land without building? Not covered. This is not house property. Sir, where will it go? We'll see later. It's not salary. That means my brain can tell me that much. If I think as a student today. House property mein to it will not. So where can it go? It can't go in salary. And it can't go in capital. Because this is not sale ka profit. We have 2 options remaining. One day they will come. At that time we will see. Correct? Hai? Somewhere in house property also I'll tell you little about that. Plus means and means cumulative condition. Second condition. For taxing an income under house property, the assessee. Assessee matlab, can I say the person who is receiving the rent should be the owner of that building. First condition क्या है? There has to be a building. Means if you give land on rent, so it is not house property. Second condition, you have to be the owner. क्या stupid professor. How can I give a building on rent without being the owner? भारी English ठोका दे. What do you mean by this? Hey, don't give me those looks. You know, I am keeping the class in. ऐसा? हाँ. Smile better है. बोल.
When you take a plot of land on rent yourself.
Land नहीं, इधर building होना चाहिए. You take any asset.
Any asset on rent yourself and then you rent it out to others to use.
Provided the original owner has permitted. Because most live-in license agreements clearly specify you can't sublet. Sublet means take on rent and give it further on rent.
But so then if you make a certain amount of profit on this book.
On what?
So say suppose I have taken a shop on rent over here. 60,000 is the rent I pay to the owner. And I am subletting it for 75,000-80,000. So the difference made,
that's your profit.
That's my profit. That is not going to come under.
It's building, first condition fulfilled.
Yes.
Second condition?
I'm not the owner of it.
Not the owner. Achha, main landlord ko the rent that you are paying, second condition is also fulfilled.
But I'm asking.
Yes bolo ya no bolo?
I'm talking about the difference.
I am asking you something. Main landlord ko the 60 that you are paying.
That is
Yes.
Yes. That is.
You are fulfilling the first condition but not the second condition. Your income. First of all, has everyone understood subletting? Your income. Is it income?
Yes, but it's not.
I am talking about the profit figure only. 80 minus 60, 20. Is it income?
Yes.
Is it exempt in any of the sections of section 10?
No.
So you have to pay tax. But not on the. Sir, where will it go? Anxiety है तो सुनो. It will go in IFRS. Control नहीं होता है तो listen. Subletting का rent will be taxed under IFRS. क्योंकि house property can come only if you are the owner, and in subletting you are not the owner. Second condition and cumulative condition. ये तीन condition दिया, any one fulfill तो चलेगा क्या? No, you have to fulfill all three, no? Cumulative means only that, no? So you have to be the owner. Condition 1, everyone please. First condition, building, with or without land, but building. Second condition, assessee has to be the owner. Matlab subletting will not come here. Where it will go, that I did not discuss for plot of land also. But only to control the anxiety, it will go in IFRS. इसमें भी थोड़ा डिस्कस किया ना, PGBP और IFRS. देखेंगे ना, we'll see. Where will subletting go? IFRS. And when they say that you have to be the owner, they say this will include someone called a deemed owner as per income tax. One thing is legal ownership. When that particular building is legally owned by you in your name, registered in municipal corporation in your name, are you the legal owner? Yes. So you're fulfilling condition 1, building. It's a building. Land ka discussion we are not doing. It's a building. And you are the owner. Are you fulfilling the first condition? Yes. Very good. But sometimes there will be a case where A holds the building in his name. Means in municipal corporation ka record, who is the legal owner? A. Legal owner. But income tax says B will be treated as deemed owner. We will assume that you are the deemed owner. Matlab, doesn't it come as a surprise? Sir, kya bol rahe? In municipal records, who is the registered owner of the property? A. But income tax will treat whom as the owner? It is something similar to A will earn income and B will pay tax under clubbing. Something similar to that is going to happen. And there are 5 situations in income tax where they have given the concept of deemed owner. Where legally the building is in somebody else's name. But you will be, deemed word in English means, in income tax means, you will be considered the owner for tax purposes. What are the cases? If it is given, so there has to be some logic, no? Had it been absolutely illogical, I would have immediately told you the absolute nonsense. Correct? Hai? So, condition 1 or situation 1. This is point number 1 of which list? Assessee is owner, that condition is over. Now I am doing point 1 with you. Of which list? Deemed owner. Means legally the property will be owned by someone else, but you will be treated as the deemed owner. Whenever there is any house property that you have transferred to spouse, or you have transferred to son's wife, asset transferred to spouse, asset transferred to son's wife, registered in there. So, who is the legal owner? Spouse or son's wife. But this transfer was done for an inadequate consideration. Understand karo? If I sell my house to my spouse or son's wife, sale I can do to anybody on the planet. And when I sell, I will show the profit also, no? Under capital gains. So income tax has no problem. If I sell, show capital gains and pay tax on that capital gains, so no problem. But I have sold it for inadequate consideration. That means, am I showing the proper capital gains? No. And now, legally, in whose name is the property registered? Spouse. Spouse है, wife नहीं है. Spouse में, you understand, let me be clear, at your level I will have to be clear. Is husband transferring to wife covered? And if wife has transferred to husband, that will also be covered. Because they say spouse, not wife. And as far as son's wife is concerned, do you understand? It can be father-in-law or mother-in-law transferring to daughter-in-law. Transferor ka gender is not specified. But in the second case, receiver ka gender is son's wife, daughter's husband is not covered. समझा क्या? I have done this transfer for inadequate consideration. This is the problem, no, mitro. If you transfer your asset for an adequate consideration, first, you can transfer to anyone on the planet. Second, you will be offering capital gains to tax. So income tax has no problem. That means in such cases, this person is the legal owner. This person is also owner for the purpose of house property. But in a case of inadequate consideration, what will happen? The transferor, who has transferred to whom? Spouse or any one of them. The transferor will be treated as the deemed owner for income tax purposes, provided the transfer was for an inadequate consideration. Means who is the legal owner? Spouse or son's wife. Depends on kisko diya. But who will be the deemed owner for the purpose of this? Matlab, if A transfers his house property to Mrs. A, या Mrs. A transfers property to Mr. A, condition है inadequate consideration. So the transferor will be treated as owner for house property purposes. समझा? Logic क्या है sir? Supposingly I have two houses. Both are earning rent for me. So this is where roughly telling you tax rates helps. You'll understand the logic. नहीं तो क्या provision I could have told you anyways. First house का rent is 10 lakh. That means I am in 30% now. So second house का rent, if I earn, I have to pay 30%. Transfer it to wife का name. Will she be in the same house as me? But the income in her hands, first 0, then 5, then 20, then 30. That exploitation ke liye people do this. And houses with us only, no. We are a family. Samjha? Rent is coming in the same household in the name of another person. So what will happen? We will assume the transferor as the owner, and that rent will also be taxed in the end of the transferor because he is deemed to be the owner. Samjha? Son's wife will be in the same house. So if you transfer the asset in the name of son's wife, so rent will come in the same house. So we will make the transferor deemed owner. But daughter's husband will be in another house. So if you transfer to daughter's husband, so that rent will not come in your house. No? Then we are not applying deemed owner. Mitro, Income Tax Act was written in 1961. तभी ऐसा ही होगा. These days, son's wife goes away with the son, and daughter's husband comes and stays. Times have changed. Once upon a time, when we said transfer to spouse, it was husband to wife and wife to husband. Other combos were not there, but now other combos are also there. बराबर क्या नहीं? So point ये है that when 1961 में the law was created, son's wife was supposed to be, a spouse was supposed to be in the. आजकल तो spouse भी same house में नहीं. Understand please. So that is the idea that people used to transfer their property. The rent used to come in the same house, but they used to exploit the slabs. क्या बोला? Transferor will be deemed owner. Is that clear? Wait. So why this first point of deemed owner came, that logic is clear. For both the transferees, spouse or son's wife, what's the common condition? Inadequate. But for the spouse, there is an extra condition. For spouse, this point will apply only if there is no agreement to live apart. English. Simple language. They are living together. Then only this point will apply. Sometimes A transfers property to Mrs. A. Inadequate consideration. So the primary condition is fulfilled. Because it was done under a separation agreement with court involvement or without court involvement. But we will separate. Now that they separate, think about it. Yes, the house is transferred to the spouse. She has become the legal owner. She will earn rent. Will that rent come in the same house as you? Because you all have separated. Then we will not apply this point. This point will apply only if they are living together. When you transfer your property to your wife to separate from her, then the idea is not tax evasion. The idea is peace of mind. You transfer for that, so this point will not be applicable. So for this point to apply, one, they should be living together. और उसके भी पहले primary condition is inadequate consideration. But this living together का point is applicable only if the transferee is, okay, you can't divorce your son's wife. Calculate करके देखना पड़ जाके how it is possible. Work करता है क्या? Have you understood? तो condition 1 to tax and income under house property. हूं नहीं, condition 1 building, full or part, but open land not covered. With building land is covered. Second, you have to be the owner. Legal owner. In a case of deemed owner, legal owner has been spouse or wife, son's wife has become legal owner. But we will assume you to be the owner. Condition 1 for both transferees, inadequate consideration. Condition 2 only for spouse. No agreement to live apart, means you all are living together. Both.
What is the level to determine inadequate consideration?
There is a fair market value of the property. If you have taken anything less than that, then it is inadequate. Samjha? Because if you take the fair market value, then you are offering it to sales as capital gains, no? Because in 1961, when Income Tax Act was created, it was believed that son एक बार छोड़ के जा सकता है, son's wife will not go. Very deep this is. You think about it. My Nanika, I told you, no? I didn't. She used to stay alone. So she gave birth to 3 absolutely useless sons. Absolutely useless sons. They shifted at various places with their respective families. We told her, you don't stay alone. You are a senior citizen, 70s. She was in the 80s. Don't stay alone. But staying at one of the daughter ka houses is something which is not acceptable in Marwadi community. That is not possible. That will bring disrespect to my. As a mother, she used to still care for her incapable, useless and nonsense stupid sons. So she used to stay alone. Every time we used to tell her, okay, chal, one of your son is requesting. Okay, one of them went. Okay, whatever be the issue, just leave everything and come. I will take care of you. Because the sisters told him, okay, she is not coming to our house and alone is not good. So every time when someone told her, no, okay, come and stay at my house, she said, this is my husband's house. First of all, no one can remove me from here. The moment I leave this house and shift with any of these idiots, no. The idea is that they will sell off this house. So first. Second, in this house, my husband brought me standing and I will go from this house sleeping. And she honored her word. She passed away in 2020 during the pandemic. वो generation था. Sons went away. The son may go away, but the daughter-in-law will not go. It was so believed at that point of time. If we write a new income tax law 2022, we will first cover daughter's husband. First, because his likelihood of staying is more. Samjha kya? Okay. So today, unfortunately, it has not been changed since a lot of years. Okay. Imagine karo if my father-in-law, let me correct myself, if my rich father-in-law transfers one of his houses to me for inadequate, of course I don't have enough to pay him, for inadequate consideration, is deemed owner concept going to apply to him? No. Why? Daughter's husband is not covered as a transfer. That means I will only pay tax on the rent. Still he is not transferred. Itni baar bola hai. He has constructed his new house in Kolkata for which I am going. Sasural matlab full izzat. Go in the morning and return in the evening. Because one night also you don't. क्या समझा क्या आपने? Jitna money he has spent for furniture over there. I will have to delete this from the video, of course. Jitna he has spent for the furniture, utne mein, not in Mumbai but in Thane, definitely 1 2.5 bedroom will come. In a good society. Yeah, I think he spent more than 2.5 crore rupees in furniture. So I am excited to know ऐसा क्या होता है फर्नीचर. पलंग मेरे घर में भी. What? काय सोन्याचा पलंग आहे का? I want to go and check. Okay? तो वो generation ही अलग था. Any other doubt?
What will happen if the son transfers the house in the parents' name?
Still this point is not applicable. But no one does that in 1961 or today. Parents transferring to children is acceptable. You know, when a child will transfer his asset to parents, क्या होगा मालूम है? That asset which is acquired by the child, own money, own hard work, not any inheritance, but once transferred to parents, that means there will be a legal claim from the siblings also. And that's not the system, that's not the custom or culture anywhere in the world. Not in 1961, not in today. Parents say things go to children. Children say things don't go to parents. Children depend on parents. Even at our age, children depend on parents. Parents don't depend on children. They are safe in their life. Dusra bol.
Sir, now you said no agreement to live apart. So that is why they are married. So while the contractor says, वहाँ पे मतलब एक clause तो डाला होगा ना कि in event of divorce, the property will be sent back for that same amount of consideration. तो वैसे तो उतना तो clause डाला होगा ना, even if it happens.
That means you mean to say that for inadequate consideration it is transferred.
हाँ, it is transferred now while they are together.
एक minute. Inadequate consideration में transfer हो गया to spouse. Let me create the situation first. Transfer is spouse. Inadequate है because if had it been adequate then this point is not applicable.
Inadequate consideration.
And they are living together or no?
Yes.
They are living together. मतलब this condition is fulfilled, this condition is fulfilled. So the transferor is deemed owner, any rent will be taxed for the transferor. Wait. ठीक है? चल रहा है. One day they separate. Now you see, the wife is going with the house or without the house? With the house. Inadequate consideration is still there. But second condition is no longer fulfilled. So the deemed ownership ka concept will stop. She is legal owner, she is actual owner for tax purposes also. In order for this point to apply, the relation of husband-wife, yeah, the relation of daughter-in-law should exist when you transfer and also when the income arises. If in between the relation stops, this point will also stop. Supposingly, you, very famous chartered accountant, you have Rosie in your office. Who is Rosie? Secretary. You transfer, very rich, lots and lots of properties. One of your properties you transfer. Kisko? Rosie. Then she, what surname you use? So then she becomes Rosie Shah. And now rent will come. It was inadequate consideration. You all were living together. You all are living together. But this asset was not transferred to spouse, it was transferred to secretary. और बाद में she became spouse. This point is not applicable from day one.
So even if it has been transferred पहले for inadequate consideration.
But that time she was not the spouse.
I'm saying बाद में the person becomes the spouse. So वो time onwards it is going to be applicable.
Not applicable.
So for this to be applicable,
you should be husband-wife at the time of transfer.
Oh.
And at the time of income. नहीं तो you transfer to anybody on the planet, so this point cannot apply. The transferee has to be spouse or son's wife.
This house property is rented. तो उसमें rent का आया भी spouse.
Right now there is no rent. But someday there will be rent. That rent will go legally in their account because the property is registered in their name. But will be taxed for him. Deemed owner for taxing rent if it ever arises. See, income नहीं है तो tax कहां से आएगा? तो obviously नहीं है. For tax to arise, income has to be there. But किसके लिए आएगा when the income comes? That's the question. अरे understood क्या? हाँ, शाबाश. So that was the first point under deemed owner. The transferor will be deemed to be the owner of the property. Is that clear? Second, a house building scheme. ऐसा भारी भारी term they have used. है कुछ नहीं. Lolwa this is. You have heard of something called a cooperative housing society. That cooperative housing society is owning a building as well as the compound. Who owns the building? Who owns the building? Society. Who owns the land? Society. Just because you purchase this one flat, that does not mean that you can say, okay, I have become the Malik, so I can roam around the building premises without clothes. माझा घर है. ऐसा नहीं है. You have to follow the rules and regulations laid down by the society. After a certain time, you can't be doing music, loud music का playing. Especially वो plush societies में तो over headache है. मतलब literally you won't believe कि घर पे गणपति पे if we have to invite guest, तो first we have to request the society. बुलाओ क्या? तुम visitor को parking करवा दोगे क्या? Please. कभी कभी तो ऐसा लगता है कि society is the landlord and I am paying rent to the society. But the truth is that the society is the landlord. Society owns it. If you want to do any construction work, 9 o'clock के पहले workers are not allowed. 6 o'clock they have to leave. दोपहर को 2 to 3 not allowed. Sundays को काम करना not allowed. अबे? And that carpenter तो needs an excuse. बोला I am ready. Carpenter से काम निकालवाना is anyways very difficult. And in that society is not letting him work when he wants to work. गजब है यार. But the cooperative society legally owns the land and building. They can lay down such rules and regulations. for smooth operations of the building. तो ये building में if there is any flat which has gone on rent, ये building में if there is any flat which has gone on rent, who will get that rent? Society. माथा तेरा कुछ भी बोलता है. The owner of, I will use the tax word, unit in the society. You know, how does he get ownership? He purchases shares in the society. Say share certificate in the society. That's how in this cooperative society I become a member. And based on the floor area of my house, उस proportion में I will have to buy shares in the society. So I have to pay house का money to whomsoever I am buying the house from. But at the same time, I will have to buy the shares. So whose land? Society. Whose building? But I still get ownership of this one particular unit. How? By acquiring these shares. Legal owner of the land and building? Society. But this fellow will be the deemed owner. In other words, cooperative society mein if you have a flat and you give it on rent, the rent will be taxed for you, not for the society. Someone like, हाँ ये तो बराबर नहीं, legal owner कौन है? Who is the legal owner? So it was required that we clarify this. Building. पार्ट का भी, इस पार्ट का, इस पार्ट का, इस पार्ट का, ये सब पार्ट का. Who is the owner? Society is the owner. I'll tell you what. In your house you have 2 bedrooms and there is one wall in between. You can't break that wall and make it one without society का permission. Who is legal owner? Society है. You purchase a jodi flat next to each other. You want to demolish the wall. You first take it in writing from the society में तोड़ रहा. Because society owns legally every corner. आपको क्या लगता है? You are the legal owner of your house. मतलब you play 3 पत्ती every day in your house. नहीं? नाइट में तो ठीक है, डे टाइम में you start. अरे you are legal owner. मेरे घर में कुछ भी करो. No? Illegal, immoral activities, even if you are legal owner, society will not allow because society owns every corner. You are getting right to stay in that. You are right to rent it because of the shares. Do you know this? That ये flat, see, this again he will ask, तो मैं बता देता हूँ. Sir, इसमें rent कहाँ से आया? If this is given on rent, if I am only staying in the house, तब तो there is no question of rent. But is it possible that this house I have given on rent to someone? That tenant has to follow all rules and regulations of the society. Stupid thing I am telling you. Do you know that for this house that I own, I have to pay maintenance to the society? Yes. Because house belongs to the society. Common areas belong to the society. And do you know if I give it on rent, the society will charge higher maintenance than other people. If normally the maintenance is X amount, in case of rented property, it will be 1.1x, 10% extra. Because society owns everything. Samjha? Your ownership is only because of this. And tax is very clear. ये तो common sense है. Rent who will earn? Owner of the unit. And he will be the person who will pay tax. We have to make him deemed owner. Because legally society is the owner. So from now what will happen? Every house which is given on rent, landlord will earn the rent. Society will pay tax. क्योंकि ओनर तो वो है ना. इसलिए दिस हैड टू बी क्लैरिफाइड. नो, आप समझा क्या? ओके, वेरी गुड. थर्ड, होल्डर ऑफ एन इम्पार्टिबल एस्टेट. Have any idea what this is? No? Something that cannot be divided without selling. Sir, matlab. Remember I was talking about my nani? She was basically owner of a house, nahi, a 2-floor ka building in South Mumbai. Ground floor pe it's a shop. This is, as I already told you, Zaveri Bazaar, proper gold retail showrooms. It's a line of shops, 1 to 65. And in that, one of the shops belong to my nana. My nana, of course. So you have to enter only from the shop. You can enter only from there. And then inside the shop, there are customers. At the end, there is a staircase. You can go to the first floor. There she used to stay. And second floor was kitchen, extra bedroom. Anybody wants to come and stay. All my childhood I have gone there and studied because घर was always small. So study करने के लिए कोई तो place चाहिए. हाँ. This is one shop. It can't be divided. If this has to be divided between the 3 brothers, there is only one way. You have to sell it. Okay? This is a road. You can't make a separate entry. How will you make? बाजू में चिपक के there is a shop. There cannot be a road से direct staircase ऊपर वाला. Or you can't come with that fire brigade का staircase every day कि मैं direct ऊपर जाएगा. क्योंकि problem क्या है? 3 sons don't want to see each other, but want the property. Nani said, ठीक है. I am staying here. No one can remove me. You do what you want after I go. They were waiting only. Idiots. So she said, you want the property? एक काम करो. Son 1, I give you this. Son 2, I give you this. Son 3, I give you this. अब इसमें भी problem है. They are not happy with that because Son 1 says that whenever they are coming and going, they are coming and going through my shop. He has a disadvantage also. Son 2 says, Son 3 is passing through my property while coming and going. And while I also have to come and go, I have to see the face of S1 and I am not interested. And poor guy, Son 3 has to trespass both property and also see both faces. And none of them are interested in each other's face also. और WhatsApp group का नाम लिखते family number 1. Indian families and their WhatsApp groups. Bunch of idiots. So what to do? So Son 1, Son 2, Son 3. If they use the premises, तो क्या होगा? They will have to face each other. They don't want to do. तो इसने क्या किया? Son 1 gave it on rent. Son 2 gave this on rent. And Son 3 gave this on rent. And the tenants don't have a problem. बोला ठीक है, कोई भी आएगा जाएगा, no problem. Anyways, the tenants in fact became cordial with each other because they work like neighbors, no? Help each other. Okay. Supposingly Son 2 का tenant is not there, but some parcel has come. So Son 1 का tenant को phone करके वो ले लो ना. He kept it also. They help each other also. But in the eyes of municipal corporation, this is one property. And this property is still registered in the name of the mother. Legally, she has said you can divide this. But money you will get only after I die. You can take the recurring thing also. But property to leke you can't go anywhere. Son 3 can't say कि ठीक है मेरा ऊपर वाला है मैं ऊपर से लेके जा रहा है. Son 2 of course can't. And imagine Son 1 taking away the shop नीचे से किधर. That's not possible. This is an impartable estate. And the only way to divide it is till the time it is not sold, the person who is holding the entire impartable estate for the purpose of tax will be treated as the deemed owner. Internally they have had an MOU. Okay, this is yours, this is yours, this is yours. But money will come only after selling. Internally they have decided. So as of now there is one registered owner. And that person will be treated as the deemed owner of all the property. See, legally we have given him the right to take this rent and this rent and this rent. But everything will be taxed for her. And because of a provision like this in law, these arrangements are never seen. Either they sell it or they if the mother is not willing to let it continue the way it is, let's not stake any claim. One day she will go. At that time we will see how to divide. Never you will get to see these arrangements, because in an arrangement like this, the rent will be received by them and will be taxed for her. You never get to see an arrangement. And that is what we don't want now. This is one property, so one person should pay tax. If you start dividing the rent like that, that means you will exploit the slab benefit of every individual. And we don't want that.
No, but the rent is being charged to the mother only.
Taxed for the mother.
Taxed for the mother only. The tax amount can be divided between three. Rent to these three are earning.
Government will take it from the mother. कर तो सकते हैं. If they honor it when they are not interested in looking at each other, so how that will happen? If they are cordial with each other, तो कर सकते. But I'll tell you something. When they are cordial with each other, no, a situation like this will not arise. They all will stay only together. Where is the question of giving on rent? Understood? Government will take tax from mother. That's the second case of impartable estate. The second case of deemed owner. Legally, they have all agreed that this is the ownership of the respective people. They have all signed the papers. But till the time the property is not sold and the money is not divided, the mother will be treated as owner for tax purposes. Is the third case of deemed ownership understood? Fourth, if there is a lease agreement for 12 years or more, so the person who has taken the building on lease, the tenant as we know him, will be the deemed owner. If there is any lease of 12 years or more, imagine कीजिए, there is a person who is landlord, who is the owner of a building. He has given his building on rent to tenant and the tenure is minimum. Can it be higher? Yes. Who is legally the owner? Landlord. But for tax purposes, this person will become the deemed owner. Because, sir, this is a huge period. Normally, lease agreements, lease rentals are signed for 11 months. You have to vacate after 11 months. So we pay for 12 months, but 1 month is brokerage. When the property ka rent is very high, and plus before shifting a lot of fit out work, furniture work has to be done, which cannot be recovered in 1 year. So the tenant before taking puts a condition ke minimum 3 years, minimum 5 years. 5 se upar you will never get to see. Generally to 11 months, for longer is 3 and longest you will get to see is 5 years. Highest hota hai when a bank takes any place on rent for opening a branch, so they make 10-year lease. In a coaching class, such a massive area, so much furniture work required, lakhs of rupees spent before the first admission. So that can't be vacated in 11 months. Otherwise it will be chaos. You understand? तो 3 years का 5 years का वैसा अग्रीमेंट. एंड बैंक के केस में ना सिस्टम डेवलप करना, स्टाफ रिक्रूट करना इज अ बिग प्रोसेस, सो मिनिमम 10 years. बैंक ब्रांचेस का रेंट. बट द मोमेंट द रेंट का पीरियड इज 12 years or more, so we get to see mostly in Bollywood related cases. So whether it was the second inning house of Lage Rao Munna Bhai which was given on a lease of 99 years. Lease has expired. या मन्नत बंगलो बैंड्रा में तो योर एरिया नो, हाँ, long term lease. That lease is so long that the real landlord probably in his lifetime may not get to exercise control also over the property. Do you understand? In our country, when somebody is given life imprisonment, many a times it is seen that after 14 years they are released. बोलता है life imprisonment, but after 14 years they are released because they count daytime and night time. And 14 years, समझ लो, देखो, life imprisonment you don't get at the age of 17, 18. You're juvenile at that time. You commit a crime at the age of 30, 40. तो 14 years के बाद में खत्म है. 12 years is big. It's massive. Full life has gone in this. Is what they understand by the way. 12 years. Coincidentally, I have also spent in teaching exact 12 years now. 2010 से count करोगे, August 2010. It's massive. It is like saying that I have given my full life here. I now have the habit of saying, पहले तो नहीं, but last few months, last couple of years, मेरा बाल काले से सफेद हो गया ये काम करते. Because those many years I have spent doing this. It's massive. And income tax believes that this guy may not be, will not be able to exercise control over this property. And thus क्या करेगा? The tenant will be deemed to be owner for tax purposes also. The tenant will be deemed to be owner. Is that understood? So, in order to tax any income under house property, condition 1, building. It can be full or part. Condition 2, assessee has to be the owner. You can be the legal owner or you can be the deemed owner. बराबर है. Deemed owner का cases are going on. We are done with 4 cases. 5th is a little big, so we will continue in the next class. Tomorrow we will wind up for the day.